Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to get your next 3K badge, so grab a notebook, put your pizza in your Sprite, and let's go. Alright, so my first tip is the legends you use. I recommend using your most comfortable legend or the legend you are best at. If you don't have a main legend that you use, I recommend using Pathfinder, Revenant, or Caustic. Why I recommend you use these legends is because Pathfinder is great for dipping in and out of fights with his grapple, and he's also good for having your whole squad push if you use the zipline, so I definitely recommend Pathfinder. I also recommend Revenant because, as you can see in this clip, his totem is a great way of getting your whole squad to push, and it's also pretty good because you can pretty much just do a suicidal push, just push them straight on, get as much damage. As you can see here, I get the 2 knocks, and he's just absolutely great just for full sending it against guys. And then the good thing is, if you do get a knock or 2, you can come straight back and get some more damage. Now I also recommend Caustic because, especially in end ring and also in buildings, you can just gas up the whole building, block off areas, make them come through certain choke points where you can just beam them, as well as just get lots of damage from his gas traps. Now do remember, these are all just by my opinion, but this is who if I go on for a 2K or 3K game, this is who I would recommend using. Now the next big tip I have for you guys is the guns you use. Guns I would recommend for this, or a loadout I would recommend, is having a medium to close range gun and a close range gun. A good loadout that I used often when I'm trying to get a 3K or 2K game is the G7 and the R9, just because the G7 can be used even at long range as well, but it's good just for farming damage in a fight, and then when you actually need to push up in a fight, you can just use the R9 like you see in this clip. That thing absolutely beams, it is so nasty. And that's what I recommend. You can also just farm at a distance with maybe like a G7 or a sniper or something, but most of the time I'll probably crack 1 or 2 people, then I'll push because it gives you an incentive to push because you have the advantage in the fight and you get a bit of extra damage as well. So yeah, that's how I would recommend using your setup. Now my next absolutely huge tip is your drop spot. Generally when I'm going for my 2K or 3K game, I will land at a spot that has 1 to 2 squads. And you might think, well, if I want to get more damage, wouldn't I want to land at a spot with more people? But I mean, let's all be honest, if we're watching this video, probably not an absolute god. So I would recommend going somewhere where you can just get 1 or 2 kills and get it like maybe 400, 500 damage at the beginning of the game, and then from there on you can set yourself up for a really nice game. Some spots on World's Edge that I would recommend is Epicenter, Skyhook, and Train Yard, because they all get about 1 to 2 squads there. Some spots I would recommend on Olympus is Rift, Gardens, Oasis, and Hydroponics. My last tip, which is probably the biggest one, is how you play, because this will affect how much damage and just overall how your game will go. Now, I would recommend playing semi-aggressive. This is pretty much where you third, dip in and out of fights, and if you think you can take on a squad head on, then just roll straight through them. As you can see in this clip right here, we've found a squad. My teammate just goes head on onto them, and I decide to go for the flank. Now, I would definitely recommend flanking if you have a solid squad with decent comms. As you can see there, we get the dub. Now this one, I'm thirding in this fight. We know there's a fight on, there's a Horizon ult. I absolutely destroy that Octane. We've killed 1 squad off already, and that just shows you the power of thirding and how you can just come in there after a fight. They might be rezzing or just low on health, and you can just completely roll straight through them. In this clip here, I'm using the Revenant ult just to scout out because we're not exactly sure where this squad is. We've just heard them shooting, and I do die here, but it was worth it because I kind of found out where they are. Get that guy cracked, very weak. We go to push him. Teammate knocks him, which is good. There's good coordination, 140 damage there, so that was a fair bit of damage for a kill. Now we know that there's 1 below us and 1 above. So go to chase this one, single him out, get lots of damage, get the knock on him. And always make sure to play smart, single people out, because it's a lot easier to get a squad wipe when you're fighting guys in 1v1s, and split up the squad rather than having 3 people shooting at you at once. So we're just splitting up the squad. Now we know there's just the Bloodhound, so I go up to push him. We're not quite sure where he is, we think he's up here, so go to try to find him. I can hear his footsteps around me. And now I think that I'm not quite sure where he is, but I know he's probably going to try to grab his banners. We see him there, so we're just going to camp the banners. This is a very effective way to stop them from getting the res off and just pretty much killing the last player of the squad, because they're most likely, if they're a good friend or a good teammate, they'll try to go kill. They'll try to go grab the banners, and we get the kill on them there. Another 90 damage. Good stuff. Get the res on our teammate. And there we go. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it somewhat helpful, and I'll see you guys in the next one.